Scenes of 1984. Griff's hangover was so bad he could hardly move. It was a real triple header: head, mouth and stomach. The throbbing pain in his frontal lobe didn't seem natural. He massaged his temples to try to ease the discomfort, but another surge of agony washed over him. His mouth was so dry he'd only taken a swig of water seconds ago, but already his tongue was like the Gobi Desert. Meanwhile, waves of nausea flooded over him as his stomach tried to deal with the excesses of last night. To make matters worse, the sun was beating through his window and the neighbourhood dogs were barking their morning symphony. It was only 8:30, but it was already 28 degrees and could only get hotter and hotter. Griff lay as still as he could, trying to decide if it would be best to throw up, trying to decide if he could get to the bathroom in time. Had it been a good night? To be honest, he couldn't remember. He tried to think, but that hurt his head. It felt like his brain had been bruised. Memories were beginning to come back. They'd been singing and dancing and lots of laughter, so he guessed it had been. He smiled, but the change in facial expression hurt his head. Then he remembered the girl. God, what was her name? Alice, Alison, Alicia. He couldn't remember. He could remember her, though. She'd looked like the singer of that band, Skunk Anansie. Tall, slim, black and bald. Very bald. They'd danced, they'd shouted over the music. She'd smiled and given him her number. He sat up in bed, but he'd moved too quickly. The thoughts of Alice, Alison, Alicia had momentarily cured his ills, but the movement was too much for him. He had to get to a toilet. Griff staggered back to bed, shivering from the sweat that had been dripping off him moments before. He felt a wee bit better, but his body ached like he'd been hit by a car. His head still throbbed and pounded, but his stomach was better. He wondered what Alison, Alicia would think of him if she could see him now. He found his jeans and rooted around for the piece of paper she'd scribbled her number on. He fished it out and looked at it. It said, "Call me," a number, a smiley and a kiss, but no name. How could he call her if he didn't know her name? Or who would he ask for? What would he say? Another wave of nausea hit him, and the hammer in his head pounded another nail into his brain. Griff felt weak, like he wanted to weep. She was all I wanted, he thought to himself. But now she was gone because of a night of hedonism.